So many things went awry every day, and it was a lot of hard work. And to get to base camp, when I think of all the times we almost threw in the towel, was a total relief.
Oh, we made it to the base. So long. We're at like 11,000 feet. We have 7,000 to go.
So we made it to base camp, which felt like kind of a huge accomplishment in and of itself, was to get to 13,000 feet, to get out of the jungle. We all struggled so hard individually in that jungle. Everything looked the same. We're all like pretty much A-type personalities, and trying to, rely on people who you can't communicate with. And finally, we come out above all of this, and it was like coming out from like being pinned underwater or something. And all of a sudden we could breathe, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're in our environment. We're where we can, take control of our own destiny, and we're at base camp. This was the transition, basically coming out of the jungle. For us to come out of the jungle and see white snow and glaciers was really an amazing time in the trip. But we'd lost so many days under town arrest, and we'd lost so many days trying to find porters, that we were rushed and we were stressed at this point. And at no point in those 30 days had we spent more than 2 nights in any one place, except for when we were in Putao under town arrest. So we were hustling, and we were trying to switch over all of our gear. We got to high camp October 30th. The next day was Halloween. And I remember this because I got on the satellite phone and I called home. And I remember my kids asking me where their Halloween costumes were, because I'd put them in this bin and I'd forgotten to tell my husband, and they didn't know where their Halloween costumes were. And so I'm like talking on this phone, like directing them through the house to find this bin to find their Halloween costumes. And I was like, this is so weird. And then my older son, he's 7 at the time, and he was having a really hard time learning to read. And he'd been working on it really hard, and so he picked up his book and read to me over the phone. And I mean, I was crushed. So I had this going on all at the same time, that we're trying to turn around, go through all of our gear that we hadn't seen in weeks, and we had 1 day to do it in, and that was Halloween, and then the next day we were climbing. So we started pulling out all of our food and trying to divvy it up, and we realized that we had actually lost a lot of food along the way. We hadn't cut it out as a way of cutting our bags or anything like that, but we had lost snack bags, and I think some of it got left in villages. We'd lost a lot of rice because there were military outposts in some of these villages, and in order for us to move through that village, they essentially bribed us out of bags of rice. So we were losing some of these food supplies along the way. And when we sat down and sorted it out, we were like, okay, we have enough for 8 days of food to climb this mountain. And if we really stretch it out, we've got 10 days. But that's taking everything with us. That leaves us basically nothing for 130 miles walking out after trying to climb this mountain.
Mark and I looked and we thought, we should go this way, avoid some of the technicality of the lower ridge. And Hilaree thought we should go another way.
Even just from the get-go, trying to pick out Camp 1, there was dissension.
It turned out that Hilaree had made the right call for Camp 1. It's just hard making these decisions so far out there. Big day, going up a giant couloir with technical climbing with heavy packs.
People were kind of just like, this is real, it's serious. But at the same time, I was just right there with everyone else.
A lot of the things that I did today I've never done before.
Kind of sketchy, some of it too, right?
It was kind of scary.
We're going up 55 degree, 60 degree ice slope.
mountain is full of surprises. We have followed yet another dead end, so we have to backtrack an hour and basically drop elevation. And then do some steep snow and ridge climbing. And then, I don't know.
In reality, the peak was like this alpine version of the jungle. It was up and down. There was no straight way. We kept having dead ends. It was really hard. I think as a team, we became really focused on climbing, but we sort of lost that team dynamic. We stopped focusing on each other and how the team was going to get to the summit. This was our second day out of base camp, and we were already in this crazy alpine environment. And that second day, we reached a dead end. We had to come back down to Camp 1 and then start day 3 over again. And I think it was a really kind of rude awakening for all of us that the mountain wasn't going to be this sanctuary, this place that we would unmap and magically arrive at the summit. It was going to be a lot of hard work, and we were very thin on resources. Right here, we're basically standing on the Tibetan-Burma border, and we were just on our second dead end coming up from Camp 2 and trying to figure out our route. The climb was steep. It was pretty windy. It was a little bit colder. I was definitely missing the down pants that I'd left like at 2,000 feet in the jungle like 3 weeks earlier. The big like 8,000 meter boots that we didn't bring and opted for like the smaller, lighter boots. This is Emily and I on the face, and so I know that this is probably like a total newsflash, but men and women are different. Just a little bit. We have a different way of communicating. And Emily was definitely my choice to bring on this trip, and she was really green in this kind of environment. But I had the utmost faith in her, and she's so strong, but she's emotional, and she was nervous on a lot of this. And so I chose to kind of like hang back and climb with her. And on this particular face, I had been in front, and I stopped, and I waited for Cory and Emily to pass, and I hung back behind and climbed below her and just hung out with her. Plus, she's really funny, and she's super fun, and we climb well together. But I think as we were moving up towards the summit, that was sort of perceived as a weakness with the rest of the team. And then again, like, women talk about things a lot more than men. And when you get on a big mountain, sometimes the guys just weren't talking at all. And Emily and I were like, my toes are cold, or how are you layering? Are you putting that under this? And are you gonna wear your balaclava under your hat or over your hat? And we were like, talking about all these things that like girls talk about, like I don't know, like, do you put your hands in your armpits or down your pants to keep warm? And I think that was also like our kind of chattiness and like, check my harness and how's my anchor look, was again sort of this second tick against both of us, and again was sort of perceived as like another weakness as we were moving up the mountain. When we got to this face, it was just sort of assumed that one of the guys was going to lead the face, and I was like, wait a second, like I want to climb, I want to lead this face. And it was the first sense I kind of got where like there's a division going on here where the girls are in this corner and the guys are in this corner. And in the end, I did lead the face, and it was fine. And this led to our high camp, which was at about 18,200 feet. And we were 6 days into the climb at this point.